Donald Trump was in Pennsylvania talking about the economy at a campaign stop, and he was talking about what he wants to do with the economy and stuff. And what does he want to do? Well, he's back on tariffs. And he said if he's elected, it would be massive tariffs on everything coming in. Well, he thinks tariffs are some magical thing that gets paid by the country in which you put the tariff on, and it's like a penalty, and they just have to pay it. Problem is, those tariffs get tacked on to the cost of the item you bring in, and the consumer has to pay it. It's not paid by the country that you impose the tariff. It is paid initially by those businessmen, but it's just added in to the cost of doing business and transferred down the line to the next company that bought the item, and eventually all the way down the line unto the consumer. But Donald Trump he wants to go back to when we had tariffs and we had more money than we knew what to do with. Why? When is he talking about? The late 1800s. Before there were regulations, before there were safe work environments, things like that. He wants to do away with safety regulations, fair labor laws, all those kind of things, if he wants to take us back to the late 1800s. Back when we had the factory towns and the company store. If you don't know what I'm talking about, around that time there was the factory towns or in the coal mining towns that were owned by whoever owned the factory or the coal mine, and then they had the company store. So that company had their own store, and that's where you paid everything. You paid for your rent, you paid for all of your clothes, you paid for anything you needed to buy for your house, you paid for your groceries, all at the company store. And when you got your paycheck, you didn't get American dollars. You got scrip, which was only useful at that company store, and you couldn't really exchange it to go get cash, or if they did exchange it, it was pennies on the dollar if you wanted to go spend it somewhere else. Donald Trump wants to take us back to that. When he says we had more money than we knew what to do with, the people making money were only the money men at the top. And that's the only people Donald Trump cares about, is the rich people at the top. But he knows that his base, that the people who vote for him aren't going to connect those dots and go, oh, he's going to try to hose us. He just hopes you're not paying attention and that you think, oh, well, we're going to all have this kind of money. It's going to be great for everybody. That's not how it's going to work. If he gets his way, we'll all be the ones kicking more money up the chain, and they're going to take even more money out of the middle class and give it to the top 1%, because that's what Republicans and Donald Trump do anymore. They don't care about the little man. They don't care about the poor and the middle class. They only care about helping out the wealthy and making them even richer. Donald Trump, if he is allowed to implement these tariffs that he wants, will bankrupt this country, just like he's bankrupted every one of his businesses, because he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just spouting out words, and he's hoping people will catch on, and it will gain him some kind of popularity, and somebody will pat him on the back and say, Donald, you're so smart. This is a dumb idea coming from a man who doesn't understand how any of this works.